What's up traders, Sasha here, Second Skies Trading, back for you here with another top trade review where we once a week review trades taken by our advanced course students. And this week Sophia is back. She made it into the top trade review a couple of months ago and now she's back here where she crushed it with a really clean trade on the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc for a total profit of 177 pips. And as always in these videos we will break down the price action context, do a multi-time frame analysis and look at the price action leading up to Sophia's trade, what she saw in the charts before taking this trade. We'll also have a look at the exact trade details and potential trade improvements so you can see how we teach our students to make money trading. Starting out with the trade details here, you can see that her entry was at 70014, her stop loss at 70390, and her take profit at 68236 for a total return of 177 pips and 4.73 R. And to put that into perspective, that means if she risked $1,000 on this trade, she would have walked away with $4,730. If she risked $100, she would have made $473, and the total holding time of this one was 51 days, so a little bit longer than the trades we usually cover. So this is a midterm swing trade, and this is a set and forget trade, meaning that once she had entered this trade, she did not adjust anything on this trade, she just let it play out. And here you can also see a screenshot of her trade. So at the red arrow is where she got in, and at the green arrow is where she got out, and the red line here represents her stop loss. And here is also a screenshot of her broker platform confirming these trade details. Now to have a look at the price action context, let's switch over to TradingView. And before we go ahead, if you do like this video, make sure to smash the like button below, give us some love, and also subscribe to our channel if you want to get notified as soon as we release new content. And on the screen here you can see that I have 4 time frames: the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour. And to break down and analyze this trade, we'll primarily be working with the weekly and the daily chart. So let's start out by looking at the long-term price action here on the weekly chart. And if we zoom out, you can see the price was in this very large range here back since 2016. And it was this kind of sideways ranging structure with a series of higher lows forming. But eventually this year in February, March, price impulsively broke down to the downside. And this bearish impulsive move was then followed by more or less a corrective structure, except one false break to the upside, which you can see here that happened in the first and second week here of June. So price impulsively broke up to the upside and then impulsively again broke down into this corrective structure. So this is a clear bearish impulsive and corrective structure. And if you're not yet familiar with one of our core models, which is impulsive and corrective price action, you can check out a lesson on that topic by clicking on the link in the top right corner. And if we now look at this false break here, an impulsive and corrective structure, if I mark the top of this corrective structure, you will immediately start noticing the foundation of the trade idea that Sophia had here and the way she played this structure. So we have this bearish impulsive selling, we have this corrective structure following, but you have this false break in the beginning of June, and once price broke back down below here, Sophia was prepared to attack this area of resistance. We already here in June and July had a nice retest here of this resistance after the false break, and then price sold off to these lows over to the left. But then as soon price came back, Sophia then said, hey, I want to get short here again. And if we look closer at the price action here using the daily chart, we can see that the area she marked as resistance is this one here, the area that has the most touches to it. And she ignored this kind of move over here, which I think was a smart decision because this is more like a breakout happening and where price kind of used this area as a springboard to launch this move higher. So in terms of resistance, the way Sophia looked at this area of resistance is, in my opinion, really well chosen because it has the most areas of rejections here to it, and she excluded the false break and this move over here that kind of was the base for launching this move higher. Another thing that stands out here that I think Sophia also saw is the strong selling here that we had in the middle towards the end of July. And if we mark this move here, you can see that this is only 10 bars or 14 days, whereas the buying that followed, taking price all the way back to the resistance resistance was 25 bars or 35 days, which is twice as long as the selling. So the buying is much slower than the selling was, indicating that bullish order flow is weaker compared to the selling preceding it. So this in itself is also an impulsive and long drawn out corrective pullback into this area of resistance. And this is exactly where Sophia said, hey, I want to get short here. I want to attack the area that has the most touches, and I'm putting my stop loss with a buffer above the resistance zone I've marked. So if you look at this area Sophia attacked here, you will start noticing that this is the area that has the most touches to it within this resistance zone. So overall, in my opinion, it's very well chosen. And if we zoom in here, you can see that this area was very well respected. Price immediately turned around in her favor and never looked back. And even though the trade took 51 days to play out, it eventually hit her target. So she did a really great job of sitting through this pullback here. She did not doubt her trade idea. She stuck to it, set and forget, as it was the plan. And then eventually it hit her target. So really well done here, both from a trading perspective, but also from a mindset perspective, in my opinion. Looking at her take profit, you can see this area to the left where we have this last strong rejection. So you have 1, 2, and 3 rejections over to the left here from April and May. And if I mark this one, you will also see why Sophia took profit where she did. She went for the lows here, the two strongest bounces here, and the lows of those back in April and March. And as you can see, same here, very well chosen take profit. So a very high probability target, going for the last strong rejections within this corrective structure and range. And as you can see as well, after hitting her target, bulls came in with force, pushed it all the way back up to the resistance. So overall, a fantastic trade here in my opinion, and it played out exactly the way Sophia had planned here. And she did really well here from a mindset perspective, just sitting through this entire corrective pullback again, almost all the way back to her entry location before bears came back and then put in another bearish impulsive move here again. So to summarize, on the higher time frame, the weekly chart in this case, we do have a bearish impulsive and corrective structure. And within this corrective structure, we have a false break to the upside. Price slams back down into corrective structure. The previous resistance here starts acting as resistance again. Inside of this structure, we have impulsive selling. We do have corrective buying. That's when Sophia got in. And then we have another bearish impulsive, corrective and impulsive sequence within this structure as well. And in terms of potential improvements, the only two improvements I can see here is A, going for a deeper entry to increase the profitability of this trade. And this is a great example that shows that if you go for a deeper entry into a support and resistance zone, that decreases the probability of your trade getting filled and increases the probability of you missing out on the trade. So if Sophia now had gone for a deeper entry into this resistance, she would have missed out on this trade. But if price would have pulled in deeper into this area of resistance, she would have gotten a much better profit out of this trade. Let's say she would have gotten in here around these highs over here. She would have increased her return to 7.72 from 4.73. So a really big improvement, as you can see. But in this case, this adjustment comes at the cost of potentially missing out on the trade completely. And the other only potential trade improvement I can see here is to take profit and extend it to the downside, because if you think about it, we are in a bearish, impulsive and corrective structure, which increases the probability of another bearish impulsive move following this corrective structure. So in that case, you can extend your target to the lows over here, but there are some signs speaking against such a scenario, which is these wicks over here to the left from March, which are very strong to the downside. So there's a lot of bullish order flow and potential liquidity waiting down in this area that got triggered here. And then we also, if you go back to the daily, we do have this false break here to the downside. So bears are not really able to clear this structure to the downside. So all in all, in my opinion, the way Sophia played it was ideal for this structure here, had the perfect entry. Her target was spot on. I think she did really well on the stop loss here. I wouldn't change that. And in terms of target, she went for the highest probability one. So all in all, I think Sophia did a fantastic job here. A+ trade across the board. And again, the trade improvements here and the potential improvements I'm mentioning, these are based on the context, and just to tell you which options you have here here what the pros and what the cons of each one is. So overall, I think Sophia did a fantastic job here across the board. So congrats to Sophia to making it to the top trade review once again. And this brings us to the end of today's top trade review video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit the like button to help us grow. Also subscribe to our channel if you want to get notified every time we release new content. And if you would like to get access to more free content, make sure to head over to our website at secondskiesforex.com. If you go to our first page, scroll down a little, and here you can sign up to our Intro to Trading course, in which you get access to 2 free ebooks, one on price action trading and one on day trading, along with free video material on stock trading and price action trading as well. And other than that, make sure to leave a comment below. We're always curious to hear your thoughts. What did you think of Sophia's trade here? What is your view on the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let us know in the comments below. We look forward to your comments and questions. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend. Good luck trading, stay positive, and we'll be seeing you next week for another top trade review.